Exactly 40 minutes later, a spotless white Mercedes van arrived. 3 luxury dealership mechanics stepped out, wearing crisp, identical uniforms. They carried advanced diagnostic computers and high-tech digital tablets. They did not look at me. They did not even acknowledge my small garage. They spent the next 4 hours swapping out expensive electronic sensors. They reset the car's massive computer system multiple times while the rain continued to pour down relentlessly. "Start it now," the lead mechanic ordered his assistant. The Bentley's engine cranked over, but instead of a powerful roar, it made a terrible, hollow, clicking sound. It refused to start. The expensive computers showed 0 errors, but the engine remained dead, and the billionaire's face turned completely pale. Victoria looked at her diamond watch and began screaming into her phone. Her voice was shaking with pure rage. Her multi-billion-dollar merger meeting was starting in exactly 20 minutes. If she was not there to sign the papers, her entire tech empire would face financial ruin. The lead expert slowly stepped back from the engine bay. His hands were shaking visibly under the bright work lights. He looked at Victoria, completely defeated. "We have done everything the digital manual suggests," he said nervously. "We cannot fix it here. We have no choice but to tow the vehicle to our specialized facility in the city. It will take at least 3 hours." Victoria's face turned white. "3 hours?" she whispered, her voice cracking. "I will lose everything in 20 minutes." While the high-tech experts packed up their digital tablets, I walked over quietly. The rain was still drumming heavily, but my ears caught a very specific sound. It was a faint, high-pitched hissing sound, buried deep beneath the roaring thunder. It was a sound no computer screen could ever detect. I stepped forward into the light. "Ma'am," I said, looking directly at Victoria, "give me one chance to look at it. You have nothing left to lose." Out of pure desperation, her tight jaw loosened just a fraction. She nodded stiffly, looking down at the wet concrete, unable to even meet my eye. I rolled up my sleeves and reached deep into the scorching engine bay. The hot metal burned against my skin, but I kept moving my hands blindly through the dark, cramped spaces. I relied completely on touch. My fingers traced the main air intake line until they finally stopped. There it was, a tiny, hairline split in a rubber vacuum line. I reached into the back pocket of my work pants and pulled out a small junk bin item. It was a generic black rubber vacuum hose that I had bought for exactly $3. I pulled my old pocket knife from my belt, cut the cheap hose down to the exact size, and slid it firmly onto the broken fitting. It fit perfectly. I stepped back and wiped the grease from my hands. "Turn the key," I said quietly. Victoria reached inside the cabin and pressed the start button. Instantly, the massive 12-cylinder engine roared to life with a deep, smooth, and perfect purr. The high-tech experts gasped as my $3 piece of junk did what their $10,000 computers couldn't touch. Victoria stood completely frozen. The smooth, powerful sound of the perfect engine echoed off the damp concrete walls of the bay. She looked at the running car, then slowly down at my black, grease-stained hands. Her arrogant, rigid posture completely melted away into pure, silent embarrassment. She opened her designer purse with trembling fingers and pulled out a thick stack of crisp $100 bills. She tried to thrust them into my hands. "Take it," she said, her voice dropping to a low whisper. "Take all of it. Just name your price." I looked at the money, then looked her straight in the eyes. I gently pushed her hand away, shaking my head. "The part costs exactly $3, ma'am," I said calmly. "I will only take $3. Not a single penny more." Before she could speak, the door to my old tow truck clicked open. Leo ran out into the damp air. He didn't care about the rich woman or the expensive luxury car. He ran straight to my side, wrapping his arms around my leg. He grabbed my greasy hand tightly with his small fingers and looked up at Victoria with fierce, unyielding pride. I looked down at my boy, then back at the billionaire. I told her my dignity wasn't for sale, and that some things in this world just can't be bought with a billionaire's checkbook. Victoria Vance didn't say another word. She silently got into the driver's seat, closed the heavy door, and shifted into gear. We stood together in the damp air, watching the black Bentley drive away into the stormy night. Its bright red taillights faded slowly until they disappeared completely into the dark. I looked down at Leo. He smiled up at me, his eyes bright, and slipped his lucky toy car back in his pocket. I lifted him up into the warm, dry cab of my old tow truck. We didn't have a luxury vehicle, and our bank account was nearly empty, but as I started our loud, rumbling engine, I knew we had proved our worth without saying a single word. True value isn't found in a luxury badge, an expensive suit, or a massive bank account. It is found in hard work, dedication, and a quiet, honest heart. If you believe that a humble father's honest work is worth more than all the gold in the world, subscribe to Brave Dad Stories.